I was lost, but now I'm found. I'm a child of Israel. Please give me the strength to stand today. With my eyes towards the east, show me the way. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging you. Don't let me fall, give me the strength. As my feet don't guide my path, show me the way to Zion. I open up the book and see that the apple of your eye included me. And through the tribulation, I know I must stand. For a new heaven, a new earth, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please. Please don't let me fall. Give me strength. Make my feet guide my path. Show me the way to Zion. I feel the Spirit calling me, drawing me back home. Traveling with my family, I know it won't be long. When you gonna look to me, and I'll be gone home. Yeah, it's calling us back home. To the I lay down and please don't let me walk you the strength, the strength. Let my feet down my back, so my life on the line, let me fall, strength, makes my feet guide my path, no me
Shalom, family. Welcome to each and every one. We are the brothers of the Garden of Christ Church, right throughout the four corners of the earth. My name is Raka Malakawa. I am one of the officers of the Garden of Christ Church, Trinidad and Tobago. I will say peace to your households, to each and every one. Blessings, family. Hit the like button. If you ain't subscribed, subscribe immediately, right? I will let the other respective members here introduce themselves. You go ahead, please, brothers.
Brothers.
Yes, sorry. I am Brother Jules. This is Brother Isaiah. We are from the GOCC South Pacific of the tribe of NAPHTALI.
Good. Shalom. I'm Deacon Kazak from UCC Spanish Ministry from Puerto Rico. Here in Truth Thursday, like we are continuously doing. So we pray in the name of Ahaya Bachim Yeshua that we receive unity in the spirit in everything that we're going to bring today. So shalom everybody en el canal de español in the Spanish channel too. Así que hoy vamos a transmitir en español. Today we're going to transmit in English. So for all of you that speak Spanish and English can watch it and understand it. So shalom.
Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. So welcome to Truth Thursdays. Can you handle the truth? So on our side, presently it's Tuesday, but on our brother's side, in Australia, South Pacific, is actually Friday morning. So that's why we started a bit late, because our brother Jules, South Pacific, was actually 10 hours ahead of us. So we had us to really work with the time frame and get certain things organized, right? So have mercy with us, please, right? So, brothers and sisters, we give the Most High Ahaya Asha Ahaya Bahasham Yeshara Kodash all the praise, honor, and glory for giving us life, having mercy, giving us strength to be here and to still stand firm in such a wicked time, right? As you all can see, we always try to keep up with present, events, things that is happening with prophecies, teach our people self-sufficiency. We try to warn our people about these different devices and strategies they are using against our people as watchmen, to warn our people to blow the trumpet. And we also got to send this gospel to the four corners of the earth. So as you all can see, brothers and sisters, the title tonight is the name of the broadcast is entitled tonight, "The Gospel Has Reached the Four Corners of the Earth." We bracketed NAPHTALI, right? So we bracket and highlighted NAPHTALI. Now, unfortunately, that we are living in a time where people say it doesn't matter, God love everybody. What else? As long as you believe in Christ, that's all that matters. But tonight, brothers and sisters, we will go into history. We will go into the prophecies, and we will highlight the importance of going to the lordship of the house of Israel. And also, brothers and sisters, we will continually to be pushing this gospel to the four corners of the earth. So I wanna give my loving brothers. I ain't gonna talk to you all much because of the time difference. Brother Jews, I ain't gonna talk to you much. And first of all, how are you going?
We are well. We are blessed. Thank you, brother. Praise the Most High, and Yeshaya no kudwas for what. But yeah, so far so good.
Right. So it's been a little while now. We had little obstacles that you wasn't able to come on a broadcast for certain circumstances. But all praises to the Most High that you are here. So, brothers and sisters, when you look at the tribes of Israel, we see predominantly, Judah comprised of Benjamin, Levi, Judah, right? The southern tribe. Every time you hear Israel, you see the so-called black people. You see people that look like me. And this is what being pushed most of the time. And it's true, the Most High used Judah to wake up all the other tribes. It's true. But there are plenty of our brothers and sisters throughout the other parts of the earth that is not getting to come to the forefront and to really know about them. And due because our brothers, our brothers and sisters were scattered from since the time of the split in the kingdom of Solomon, from since 721 BC. Our brothers and sisters, our ancestors, our NAPHTALI, the northern tribe in particularly, they left Jerusalem, they left the land of Israel through going through captivity, but they are Syrian captivity. So through that, and through the process of time that they were mixed into the other nations, that they seem to look different, but they actually are the same people. And without a shadow of a doubt, we're going to prove that tonight. You understand? So, Deacon Shazak, you have anything to say to the people?
We also know that in these last days, the serpent is a cunning, you know, with his lie. So we must be strong in the faith and don't let anybody that it doesn't matter, Israel, because right now what the Catholic Church is doing is that they are pushing. They have a a head start of thousands of years, hundreds of years, centuries of perfecting their doctrine to 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 bring us to captivity and to make us stay in that captivity in sin. So right now they are seeing us. They are seeing our videos. They are trying to mimic our way to do things, and they are trying to combat with more knowledge, with deceive, with more lies that Israel doesn't matter. Okay, that we have a new pact, that they have Christ made a new alliance, a new pact, and so everything is new. So it doesn't matter us. You see, so we have to keep going in this topic because we Israelite that are dispersed, specifically from the tribe of Israel, Ephraim, or the northern kingdom. We are a cake not turned, and we were gonna mix with the nation. So we will become, we will not look like Judah in the last day. We will not, because we're gonna lose, we lost our heritage by mixing with the nations. So right now, uh, don't be discouraged by the attack of the devil, because we have the history, we have the truth, we have the Bible, we have the blessing and the curses that nobody else had lived, that only us. I hope tonight we're gonna discuss some of that, so we bring more knowledge and understanding of it. Okay.
Can. And you know what? As you touch on that, um, Isaiah, it's Isaiah, right?
Yep.
Right. Can you go into the book of Second Kings, chapter 17, please? Reading from verse 40.
Okay. Book of Second Kings, chapter 17 and verse 4.
14.
14. Verse 14. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like to the neck of their fathers, that did not believe in the Most High, their power, or the Lord their God. Salakia.
Read.
And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them.
Right. So, brothers and sisters, this is speaking about the children of Israel. Right? This is speaking about the children of Israel. The Most High has established a covenant with the children of Israel. He then did it with no other race of people, right? So this is who the Most High had testified against in the book of Second Kings here, right? Continue.
And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them that they should not do like them.
Mm-hmm.
And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal. And they caused their sons and daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord. to provoke them to anger.
Right. So the Most High warned our forefathers that not to follow the customs of the heathen. Our forefathers was very covetous. They wanted what the Gentiles had. They sacrifice unto devils. They sacrifice their children. They follow Moloch. They worship Yahweh. They worship El Shaddai. They worship all these false gods. And it provoked the Most High to anger. Right? Read.
Therefore, the Lord was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight.
He did what?
And removed them out of his sight.
Mm-hmm.
There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king, and Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord, and made them sin a great sin.
Mm-hmm.
For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Kutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath.
Right. So John 1 verse 46. So the Most High had prophesied to our forefathers that for disobedience I will put you under another nation or under your enemies. So immediately after our forefathers was not hearkening to the prophets, the Most High removed Israel, but he kept Judah in the land. Right? Get that carefully. He removed the northern tribe, right? Because predominantly the northern tribe was in Samaria. So he removed the northern tribe out of his sight. And he kept Judah, Levi, and Benjamin only for David's sake, right? Because David was a man after the Most High's own heart. So the Most High kept Judah there, Levi, and Benjamin. But the northern tribe, which compiles of Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Manasseh, right? Ephraim, right? Issachar, all these tribes was removed, and the king of Assyria took them into captivity. Let's go down to verse 46. Sorry, I said 46. Sorry. Yeah, you can drop that right there. Sorry about that. Right? Sorry about that. So, brothers and sisters, it is very clear that the Most High removed them out of his sight. The king of Assyria took them into captivity. Right? Now, let's hold that scripture there. And I want to go into a news clip, brothers and sisters, right? I want to go into a news clip to parallel and to coincide with the prophecies of the Most High God and what he said will happen to our people for disobedience. Now the Most High said it shall be for a sign and a wonder upon our people. And I want to go into this, and you know, Jews, you will take the floor from this clip in here, right? Just bear with me.
Where are we going on to?
I'm going to play the this news clip in here, right?
A landmark project is helping to uncover Australia's dark past. Historians have mapped 250 massacres of Indigenous tribes across the country. They occurred during frontier times. Hundreds of Australians contacted researchers with new information and leads on long-forgotten sites. Here's Indigenous Current Affairs correspondent Bridget Brennan. It's the modest monument to significant moments in time. The last chapter is the mystery of what became and what happened to the gullible people. On Sydney's outskirts of Athens, 14 Aboriginal people were murdered by soldiers in 1816. They were divided relative self-establishment time, one of the markers of the conflict that followed colonisation. Happened first, and it should never be forgotten. The groundbreaking project mapping mass society with Indigenous people now has the most detailed resources available. I think we've got enough evidence there now that nobody can deny that there were widespread massacres of prominent Australian funders for more than 150 years. There's extensive research on conflict sites in Tasmania, known as giants not war. Further north, researchers have now mapped massacre sites in far western New South Wales and Queensland. Work has begun to mark sites in the Northern Territory and South Australia. But the map is still missing the multiple massacres of Western Australia's Aboriginal population. It's taken years of painstaking research to get to this point to mark 250 massacres across Australia. The researchers estimate they're only halfway there, which were going to estimate that there were at least 500 sites. First Nations people are now grappling with the best way to remember the dead. That kind of space to commemorate and kind of memorialise is definitely missing. Wiradjuri Army to Andrew has visited massacre sites overseas and says Australia has much to learn. People can really start with their own trauma and their own past, and then therefore have an one memorial which is helpful to face up to its past. Bridget Brennan, ABC. A landmark project is helping to uncover Australia's.
Right. Jules, take the floor.
Yes, so when you saw the map of Australia, right, it started off from that little island on the bottom of Australia's mainland. That's Tasmania. There is apparently there's a main Reubenite tribe there that's completely wiped out. They don't exist anymore. They've totally been killed off. But yes, where do we go? I mean, that is a massive topic. That I mean, along with that, when they were killing the Reubenites off, they about 1910, they then took changed their strategy and took on what we know here in Australia as the stolen generation, where they taken newborn babies straight off Reubenite mums and dads and put them straight into the white communities to try and breed them out. At that time, there were a lot of Reubenite brothers and sisters that were like well into the community and they dressed very European-like, they spoke very European-like, but still that was not good enough for the invading powers of that time. So they took on that next step was to breed them out. And then from that were born what they called half-caste children. And they looked at it as, we can train these half-caste children to merge into our society. It's better than trying to merge the black man, as they were deemed lower in IQ and everything is civil as well. So so right now to this point now we've got the stolen generation where it's written about in Deuteronomy, where they're now coming back into their roots as Aboriginal Australians. They have blue eyes, and just like NAPHTALI today, we're a lighter shade now of the darker brown. They're coming out to claim back their roots. But yes, it's massive. Reuben and NAPHTALI were both in chains here in Australia. Um, but yeah, there was thousands of Reubenite brothers and sisters that were murdered, slaughtered, and as that documentary was saying, that is very true. They're still unearthing graves now, mass graves, with the Reubenite brothers and sisters in there. Do you want me to go into a bit more of one?
Right. So, here what? Let me go into another article, right? Because, I know you have a lot of information to bring forth. I myself, right? So, we don't want to be, I'm seeing in the chat here that our volume is very low. Is that happening, sir, brothers and sisters?
It was only the video, brother.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay. Oh, I know the video was low. Okay. Right. So I want to go into another article, brothers and sisters, right? Let me go into that now, right? Because you see, we had to bring it out because, brothers and sisters, we look at our slavery on the western shores, and on the western shores of this side of the earth, and don't understand that our brothers and sisters throughout the Pacific Islands and Australia went through the same curse, brothers and sisters. Same exact thing, right? And listen, they only calculated 150 years, brothers and sisters. And I'm telling you, it's more than 150 years, right? It's more than 150 years, brothers and sisters, right? Let me get back into it here, because I really want to bring forth the info. Right. So I will read, right? Let me see, is it clear? All right. That's not fine. That's not fun. Bear with me. That's not fun. Got so much information, brothers and sisters. I didn't highlight it properly. Right? Okay. Black bird. Right.
Do you have it, brother?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Right. I have a lot of information up on the screen today. Right, brothers and sisters. Blackbirds, Australia's hidden slave trade history. Right? This was hidden, brothers and sisters. All right? As you all can see there in the plantation, just like in the Caribbean. Right? The racism that brought Australian South Sea Islanders here and the racism that tried to send them back. We have a slave trade. Imelda Davis speaks these words quietly, as if in deference to their gravity. She has come to the crux of an argument she has laid out hundreds of times before to politicians, journalists, and executives. Though she is repeating herself in the way of professional advocates who spend their lives drawing attention to a cause, will never speak of hers as a matter of root. She can't, right? That's now, brothers and sisters. Let me zoom the scene a bit, right? Zoom that in some more, right?
Okay. I think your brother gonna be right back in. I don't know, brothers, if you have seen our last broadcast that we also YouTube took down because the world doesn't want to realize that the 12 tribes are rising up. The valley of the dry bone are getting the spirit, and we are getting life. So so
That's
I,
right.
I I don't know if you can talk to us about how you are living the curses over there in Australia and South Pacific. How you're still affecting you as a people.
Yeah, yes, yes. Hosea 4:6 really rings a bell here, especially with Naphtali. Well, Naphtali and Reuben. Um, with with pork is consumed here in massive levels. Crayfish, shrimps, all that is a so-called delicacy here, which I'm pretty sure it is around other parts of the world. But with Naphtali, pork is a big part of family gathering meal. It's a main
Is
it's the main animal that is slaughtered for feasts here. And you know what?
yeah,
And it's high cholesterol, whatever it is. And we are dying of all the diseases that are as written in Deuteronomy. That's not even written about in that book. Massively, massively.
yeah, it's like that too here in Puerto Rico. Pork
Mm.
is the main dish of every festivity, and in the we have like a little city here in Puerto Rico that is called Guavate, and what guavete means for the Puerto Rican is like the typical food of Puerto Rico. Everybody tells you have to go to Guavate before if you come to Puerto Rico, and you know what is in Guavate? It's like in every corner you see a lechonera. Lechonera is pork in Spanish. It's like a place that only you see the pork in in the crystal, and they give you every any kind of every the pork used to do in a lot of different way here in Puerto Rico. So he said the legacy is a tradition. So we are all living that, brother. So
Mm.
that make us to be in sickness, and everybody doesn't know it. They just wait to the doctor, because if the doctor tell them not to eat pork, they will listen, but they will not listen to the Most High.
That's right.
That's
That's
why.
right. It's
Uh,
weird that.
yeah, officer, you're here. So do you guys have the? I know you are from Neptali, but do you have interaction with brother Ruben over there?
Yes, yes, we've got. I think we've got about 4 Reubenites here in the gathering here in Australia. As we know, Reubenite is also in Papua New Guinea.
Okay.
They are also they've got China over them.
Okay.
Yeah. So Reuben's a very hard brother to wake up. He's very, yeah, very, very,
Strong.
yes, yes, strong in the mind,
Yeah, hard headed.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Uh, and we usually the officer Akar is bringing us this news and this article, because a lot of people in Jura, uh, they maybe don't understand yet that all of us have been has been slave in our history. We have been slave like they did, you know,
Mm,
and they treat us the same way,
that's
like
right.
and the same way that happened here in Puerto Rico with slaving the Indians, and then when the I don't have light, bro. Raga, you have to keep going the live. I don't know if I'm gonna get cut up. Okay, so
God. Yeah, brothers and sisters, I must say, from last week to now, they are really jamming our broadcast. unfortunately, due certain circumstances with the Contras Act across in Puerto Rico, have little issues, right? Now, right? So now, brothers and sisters, let me go into this article, right? Let me go into this article, right? Let me go into it now, right? I want to highlight a few things, right? Blackbird's Australia hidden slave trade history. They don't want this information out to my brothers and sisters. They don't want it out. Listen, welcome to True Tuesdays. Can you handle the truth? As you can see, the sugar cane. So our people, we work cotton, we work rice, we work sugar cane, we work in these fields, brothers and sisters. The racism that brought Australian South Sea Islanders here and the racism that tried to send them back, right? Let me get back to where I was, right? Before I was rudely interrupted. Inspired by pseudo-scientific race theories in vogue at the time, the colonial rationale for importing islanders was that they were oh my god, my tongue little tied at it. To tropical conditions, too demanding white laborers. None too disposed to care about the health and safety of their charges. In the first place, white overseers routinely worked islanders to death. They work the islanders to death. The people from the South Pacific, when they bring them across, they work them to death. Some just the way how they work the southern tribe. Listen, our people may make like 30-something years and they just die because of the hard labor. Same thing. Back-breaking labor, heat exhaustion, disease, mistreatment, and malnutrition killed islanders in their thousands. In 1884, the annual mortality rate for islanders in Queens Island reached 147 deaths per thousand. That's what they're telling us. The rate for European men was 9 or 10. Unmarked mass graves, dot cemeteries, and former plantations across central Queensland and the Tweed on the NSW border. In the 40 or 50 years that the blackbirding trade operated, some 15,000 islanders died in the cane fields. Around 30% of those transported. Most of the rest was forcibly deported when the Federation and the advent of White Australia policy ended the practice. It had fought political campaign to permit them to stay in the country as free citizens. Their journeys back to the islands were funded by stolen wages of the laborers who died. Yo, these people are wicked.
Yeah.
They're wicked. So they work here, they don't get you what they want to get rid of you. And it's the same thing going on with us now. That's why they had this so-called coronavirus. Because we are waking up now. We are spiritually breaking free from their spiritual captivity and the physical captivity. Our people are seeking more self-reliance, more self-dependency. And they see that. They see that they are not capitalizing our ignorance anymore. So you know what? They're pulling the rug off on our feet now. And the system, they're actually encroaching on our people. So when people think it's just diseases breaking out, just so is they understand that when Israelites and our people has awakened, their time is coming to an end. Now what this is all about. So they understand. Listen, anybody know that what you reap, you sow. And they know what they had done. All the billions these elite powers have, brothers and sisters. What they receive as an inheritance for thousands of years for free labor. free labor for thousands of years, brothers and sisters. It's how these people are so rich. These families are so rich. So you know what? They know without a shadow of a doubt that something is coming back to them. And this is coming back to them not on a physical level, but on a spiritual level. You understand? Let me continue. Digress a bit. Right? For those who escaped deportation and their descendants, decades of segregation, ostracization, and official erasure created a cycle of inherited disadvantage and trauma. Davis' maternal grandfather was among those who remained in Australia. While the absence of records makes confirmation impossible, he was likely taken from the Middle Bush region of the island of Tanna in Vanuatu sometime in the late 19th century. According to the stories by Davis' mother and grandmother, he was kidnapped at the age of 12. He died before Davis was born. She had never been able to return to Vanuatu to look for her relatives or traces of her grandfather's life. Decades after he lived and died, the shockwaves of the kidnapping and the aftermath reverberate through the lives of his descendants. Right? So I will stop there with that for now. Now, what is going on with Miss Davis, brothers and sisters, is that they are grieving. They lost their heritage. They lost their identity. And listen, Isaiah, please, can you go into the book of Jeremiah 17, verse 1, verse 4, please.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
So you shall discontinue from your heritage, right? You shall discontinue from your heritage and you shall kindle a fire. See, the Most High was angry for disobedience. We discontinue from our heritage. So this is the condition with our people, with our brothers in South Pacific and Jews. I don't want to talk too much.
You're good.
I want you to chime in, man. I want you to chime in because you experiencing it live down in South Pacific in Australia.
You're good. You're a good officer. You're going well. You got me mesmerized. But yes, it is. A lot of our younger generations are not taught this blackbirding history of our people. They have no idea about it. They have no idea that they were kidnapped from all around so-called Melanesia, so-called Polynesia and Micronesia. They sailed all around and kidnapped them off the beaches. They tricked them with luxury. And then once they got them alone, they kidnapped them and chucked them in ships. And then they sailed them into Queensland to work the cotton fields and the sugar cane. And at exactly the same time, the Spaniards were kidnapping Pacific Islanders and Melanesians and shipping them to the Philippines, and back from the Philippines, collecting more NAPHTALI and sailing them down to South America. At exactly all this time, this was happening. This was the real introduction of South Sea Islanders and Reuben into what is the Western society. And this was just the start of tribulations to come. It was just the start of segregation. It was just the start of the by names that were to come later on. And it come very heavy, from the blackbirding. We were, when by the time we had come into this so-called Western world, we were called bungers, coconuts, niggers. We were called all these. Our ancestors were celebrating the Sabbath, but they didn't know which day was the Sabbath, so they celebrated pretty much the Sabbath every day. And till this day, they still do that. So when the sun goes down, they blow the conch shell. So when the colonizers came over, they stopped all Pacific Islanders from doing this practice. They stopped all Pacific Islanders from speaking their languages, because the language actually connected all the islands. They stopped our ancestors from navigating the sea using the stars, calling these practices savage. It was deep. It's deep. And then, right up until the 70s and the 80s, they had what we call the dawn raids. So, even though that the Pacific Islands, New Zealand, they were all in confederate with England, they're all one under the same flag. But back in those days, you couldn't just fly from, say, New Zealand to Australia and stay there for as long as you want. You couldn't do that. You were only allowed to fly there on an agreed time that you were there. So when you overstayed your stay, you were categorized as an overstayer. So the government knew that there were overstayers, so they put out rewards for family members to tell on other family members that they knew of or friends that overstayed their stay. So there was another era there called dawn raids, where the government police would come in at 5 o'clock in the morning and raid houses and handcuff women, children, and men, and take them straight in a police car, straight on the plane, send them straight overseas. No questions asked. You couldn't put your pants on or anything. They were just straight in handcuffs, straight on the plane. That was the era of dawn raids. So and also at that time, the government, New Zealand government, were also like literally just walking into lands in New Zealand and taking the people off the lands. So our people, we couldn't combat this. So the protests and all that. So they seek advice from Judah. So with the Panthers movement. So then we had the Panthers movement started in New Zealand in the 70s, 80s, and they were advised by Judah, our brothers in the United States, on how to because NAPHTALI seen that Judah had a way with the Panthers and how they organized the schools, how they had to educate their people and protect their people. So NAPHTALI liked that. They didn't know that they were connected, So Judah educated our people on getting this Panther movement, Black Panther movement going on in New Zealand. And you know what? And it worked really well. With the government and their ways, they in the next generation not carrying on this mentality, they slowly solved back into society. But blackbirding, that was the start of what was to come later.
Right. Calm. Because it's deep in itself, because there was really hiding all the tribes' information, but I realizing how to go into the information with our other brothers, the other tribes through all the South Pacific and Australia. I realized that it's real hidden. It's something that's real hidden. Like they're really trying to hide that part of history what our people went through, right? The same curses, and I'm going to go into the scriptures on that. They went through the same curses. They were taken off their island and went to another land with ships, hard labor. They went through the same thing, and this is to reach all our people, brothers and sisters, because the book of Revelation speaks on this, and we will go into the tape. And may I go into a scripture, please? May I go into the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, reading from verse 5, please, Isaiah.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, in verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
No, 45.
45.
Yeah. Sorry about that. 45.
So, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
Mm-hmm.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
So it shall be upon a sign and a wonder upon thy seed forever, right? Read.
Because thou servest not the Most High thy power with joyfulness, and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Right. So because of disobedience, right? Because I know, Jews, you will get into it some more about our people went off after they went to a new land and they settled. They went back into their wicked ways. And now, the Europeans who the Bible identifies as Esau, Edom, came right to our people. So our people have a different tongue, a different language, right? Right? So listen, these people and them know what they're doing. They're not just going and just taking up a boat and just cruising on the islands and cruising on the waters and say, hey, everyone captive today. These people don't know who they're going for. And I'm going to go into some information also to prove that they went into the same Bible, our Bible, brothers and sisters. They went into the Hebrew text, the Tanakh. They went into it, brothers and sisters, to find our true four corners of the earth. Right? Do you mind jumping up to verse 59, please?
Verse 59. Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and of long continuance.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
So as Jews on, which he will Jews, did the people went through the plagues?
Yes, absolutely. We're still going through it as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
So even as late as October last year, 2019, we had a big measles outbreak in the South Pacific that killed 60 children under 5. And it spread it out through the other Pacific islands as well, but they sort of mainly concentrated it in Samoa. And then our people went back into natural remedies and they were starting to cure the disease, but then they were belittled by the media and the medical people there. So looked at it as primitive medicine.
Can you jump on to verse 68, please?
Verse 68.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. Shall be sold unto your enemies.
Remember that, read.
for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Right, so we know that buy there means to redeem in the Old English, so no one can redeem our people out of that state of, captivity, that sort of bondage. And brothers and sisters, we want to highlight NAPHTALI today, but we also going to go into other information of the importance of this. You see, brothers and sisters, listen. They've been planning all the time for this time. They know that we were about to wake up because it's in the book, right? He said that how in the same land that they shall say that you are not my people. They told us that we were what? Indigenous, Aborigines, Negroes, as the brother said, they call them all sorts of names, and I'm going to go into the information that's showing the kind of names they were called, right? But in that same land, they shall say that they are the tribes of the children of Israel. These elite powers, you think we networking long before we were awakened, right? So they're watching what NAPHTALI, Reuben, Judah, Issachar, come on, Corona, measles also, right? They said that create the fall of the whole economical construct of every country. And now they're going to push the mark of the beast, and to separate, you understand, the Most High chosen and those who are given over to this world. This is what we are approaching. Brothers and sisters, listen, this prophecy that we are bearing witness of is showing us that we are coming down to the end, brothers and sisters. That Benjamin, Judah, and NAPHTALI is here on this broadcast, and Ephraim, are here. Is a whole prophecy being fulfilled tonight, and that been fulfilled from years ago. So so we gotta take it as it is, and yes, we has awakened, but it's a spiritual warfare, right? People, we were taught, that how to say, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, right? Principalities, powers, rulers of darkness. So we're wrestling on a real spiritual level right now, brothers and sisters, as a nation. You know what? We gotta connect, right? We gotta network. And one of our networking that we must start as a nation, as a people, is praying at the same time, brothers and sisters. And I pray that this will go out. The Most High will make our way on that. I'm not gonna talk on that. That we must pray together through the four corners of the earth every day at a particular time, even if it's twice for the day. Our nation to fight against the powers that be, because we cannot fight this warfare physically. We cannot fight this warfare physically because listen, they got everything physically, but we serving the God of all gods. But you know what? We're gonna get tried. And this is the part that our people, and we must always remember that we are going to be tried as a people. We're going to be tried as a nation. The adversary is going to come to attack us in all sorts and forms of fashion to stop us as a nation. And we must understand that. We must be committed. We must be loyal to the Most High. Right? So, Jews, talk to the people while I look to get into something else there for a moment.
Sorry, what was that again? Sorry, come again, officer?
I said, can you talk to the people for a moment while I go into some more information?
Right. Okay. So, the brothers and sisters out there that are watching, so we all praises and honor and glory go to the Most High, Ahaya, and the Son Yeshua Kodash Rawak. Praise the Most High for Judah, for awakening the tribes. We are happy and proud. We stand here with pride in Yeshua and the Most High. So, but the blackbirding, they really started in Fiji in 1865. And it was around about, say, 1865, there was a blackbirding. There was 1885 when King Leopold was in Congo, cutting off the hands and feet of our brothers and sisters there. and also the sugar caning from the blackbirding 1863 to 1904. We have the Seventh-day Adventist that was then founded in 1863. Jehovah's Witness, Charles Taze Russell, 1870. The Mormons Church, founded in 1830. And, so there's a certain time when these colonizers, or what the Bible calls the children of Edom, has sort of sprung up at a certain time when there might have been an awakening that was starting to happen that they had seen. So they had jumped in to resurrect what we called religions and churches, just to further put our people to sleep a bit more. So in 1928 there was what we called the MAU movement in Samoa with the chiefs, and they marched against the European rulers that were trying to settle the Pacific Islands. It wasn't just Samoa they were marching against; they were actually marching against the European powers that were wanting to settle the whole Pacific Islands. And 30 years later in Kenya, they had the Mau Mau, MAU, and the same movement for the same thing. So we had a lot of similarities as a people, no matter where we were in the world. Similar bits and languages and history. We just didn't connect the dots to really, claim and see who we are. We in New Zealand, when I was younger, we'd always seen fringes on our clothes, and wondered. We asked the older generation about, what were these fringes for? They couldn't tell us. They would just say it's our culture. I said, where do we get it from? They would just say it's our culture. We don't know, but it's just our culture. Mm-hmm. And, we used to go to markets, and then we used to see West African women and the way they carried themselves and held their babies. It was like I was looking at NAPHTALI, just the way they carried themselves. So for years and years and years, these things were always in my head, like, these people have got to be related to us. But how? Why are they on the other side of the world and we on the other side of the world, but yet we have so much similarities that I see? So coming into the truth, everything opened up. I was frozen with goosebumps. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, and everything from childhood right up to my adulthood made sense. The fringes, the laws, the blowing of the conch shell to stop working when the sun went down. Just knowing all these and where we come from, it just all made sense. And it really, to this day, I still feel that burning fire inside of me. I'm still excited about it. It really excites me. So when I see, like I tune in to see yourself, Officer Raka, and and me watching it, I'm like, man, so these brothers are my brothers. Like, I can't believe they're like, it's exciting, these things. It's really exciting. And then I'd watch somebody in West Africa and like, wow, I'm just full of just excitement. Mm-hmm. And I just can't stop praising the Most High for this,
Can't.
Yeah. So then going into the history, like we bring it out today, just really, I'm just humbled by all this.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm very excited too. We all are excited. We all, within everything that's happening at that time, we still can give the Most High praise. In a time like this, many people, there are lots of fatalities, lots of bad things that's happening right now. But the Most High still gives us the spirit of joy for us to come together as a people. And I'm truly blessed to be here, with you all. Family, hit the like button. So, hear what? I'm gonna go into something here again. Because listen, we gotta bring it up. We gotta bring it up. We gotta let the world know and let the world see. That's why they told you the Old Testament is done away with. That's why they told you you're under grace. Just follow Jesus. Don't worry, just follow Jesus. Everything okay. How can you understand Christ when Christ come in the volume of the book? How can you understand Christ when you don't even understand the schoolmaster? You must understand the schoolmaster first and then go on to perfection, which is Christ. But going through the schoolmaster, you will understand the things that will happen for disobedience. This is a sign and a wonder upon our people. Am I saying we're going into slavery? No. Am I saying that we are the only people that go through different sufferings? No. But predominantly, when you look at it throughout all nations and races through the four corners of the earth, you will see it was something really personal against our people. Yeah. So let me go into this. All right. Let me go in. Right. I'm gonna zoom it in as best as I can. Okay. Indigenous people of Northwest WA recall slavery of their ancestors in pearling industry. We get straight to it. See? How the European family there? You see? We'll be slave there. You understand? Look at it. All right. All right. Brothers and sisters, just give me a few.
Yeah, so for brothers and sisters out there watching, so the history of the British colonizers that have gone into India as well. So they were in India for a little while, and then they completely left India. So they didn't even leave any rulership in India, but they had gone into where Israel is today and maintained and stayed in there.
Right. Sorry about that, brothers and sisters. Right. Let me get back to it. Right. Aboriginal people from Western Australia were kidnapped from their communities to work as slaves, according to a research paper published by the University of the Western Australia in March. Professor Alistair Patterson and his UWA colleagues documented the presence of Aboriginal people dumped on Barrow Island by pearlers, effectively incarcerating them to a harsh and limited existence in between unpaid indentured diving on the pearling loggers. They certainly would have found it very difficult to leave, Professor Patterson said, right? In this industry, Aboriginal people encountered for the first time whites and Asians and forms of human bondage comparable with slavery. The research showed that the Aboriginal people from Murchison north to Fitzroy Rivers and beyond, and to most coastal Kimberley communities were kidnapped from their communities to work as slaves. That's talking about, predominantly Reuben, right? Also, government magistrate at the time, Colonel Angelo, is quoted saying, "I find here in full force a disguised but questionable system of slavery carried out under protection of the British flag. Either the pearlers operated from GOCC near the Dampier Archipelago in Pilbara to Rookbook Bay in Broome from 1860 onwards." Right? That's something here I want to bring out. Co-researchers Professor Peter Vett said pearl diving teams were often part of pastoral concessions in Northwest. People used on vessels, whether they were sea people or not, made to work very long days, Dr. Vett said. It appears from early accounts that Aboriginal people were unsold and left on the islands referred to as barracoons, a temporary place for confinement for slaves or convicts in the off-season. We effectively had indentured labor form of slavery still persisting in the northwest of Australia, which was unregulated. And it goes on and on and on, right, about what they were called let me get into this also. While the British outlawed slavery in 1833 and Dutch abolished slavery in 1860, the Dutch East Indies Shipping Company still brought workers to Australia for agrarian slavery as late as 1880. Colonial tolling masters such as Captain Francis Cadell and Broadhurst family were heavily involved in captivity and coercion, even though it was neither permitted nor condoned by government since the abolition of slavery by the British across their colonies. Finding it difficult to get enough indigenous divers, they brought in Malay divers from East Nusa Tenggara in Indonesia. Right? Cadell took 27 men from Sua Island in Indonesia to Barrow Island in 1874 and prompting the Dutch resident of Timor at the time to issue orders to prevent Cadell from taking more men. The research points to police records describing the abandonment of Asian and Aboriginal workers on islands such as Barrow Island and underpayment, incarceration, mistreatment, and death of workers. They just go on and on and on and on. I went there, brothers and sisters, to show you all how they went and took them on ships. Now, there are lots of info in that text, right? But I won't go into it more because it's actually saying the same thing. I just want to show you a precept upon precept according to the Bible and secular history upon secular history. You know what I mean? Secular history upon secular history. Precept upon precept, line upon line. Our people are still suffering through the four corners of the earth. You never know where you may end up, brothers and sisters. You never know if you might have to go down there. So we gotta be on the edge of the Most High. You know what I mean? And I never know about the pearling industry. You know on that Jules, you know on that part of slavery. Slavery. Jules, you hear?
Yep.
Are you familiar with that type of slavery?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
But a lot of the newer generations have got no idea about this history. No idea.
I myself not too familiar with it. That's why I'm asking, because I only come across that information today, brothers and sisters. I'll be honest. I only come across that information today about that type of slavery. You understand what I'm saying? Right? I want to go into something. Right? Isaiah, can you get the book of Deuteronomy 33? Right?
Yep.
33, reading from verse 6. I'll tell you when to read. I want to put it up on the screen. I want to show people something, right? That's not right. I'll tell you when to read. I want to share it on the screen first. I want to show people something, right? Let's bear with me. You know, Chazak is the man who does really do this. So I'm super multitasking today. Yeah, I'm a little multitasking today, right? And I just want to, I want to highlight something in this prophecy. Where is it? Where is it? Bear with me. I really gotta bring this up. It's in Deuteronomy 33, but I just can't find the verse with Naphtali. Can you find the verse with Naphtali, sir? Right, I found it. Let me just share this, and I wanna open up this and share this to the people, right? And I wanna show how to hide the information also, right? I wanna show you all this, brothers and sisters. I wanna show it. Let me see how I can share this, right? Okay, I'll do it differently. Application window. Right. That's not, brothers and sisters. I'm going again. Right? Bear with me. Okay. Right. Got it. Let me see if I'm there. Right, good. That's all right. Okay. Let me make sure it's the same thing that I have here on the screen. Right. Let me go into the prophecy, brothers and sisters. And for those of you who may be new, pull out your book, pull out your pen, and take in the information. So we go into the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, reading from verse 23. Can you read, please, sir?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 23. And of Naphtali he said, O Naphtali, satisfied of favor and full with the blessing of the Lord, possess thou the west and the south.
Right. So stop there. So thou shalt possess the west and the south, right? So we know it's South Pacific Islands, they call that area, right? But I want to go into our world here, which is the west. And I may not be able to open it up that big for you all, but you all could check it out in the Strong's Concordance, right? This west they put here, brothers and sisters, is a true meaning. This west is an unused meaning of raw, a sea, a breaking in noise surf, or large body of water, specifically with the article, the Mediterranean, sometimes a large river or an artificial basin. Locally, the west or rarely the south. Sea, shore, south, west, western. Let me get some more, right? So, and this up here shows that. Now, this west, brothers and sisters, is talking about the sea. You understand what I'm saying? So they put west and the south. It was the seas of the south. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we also identify our brothers from Naphtali and Naphtali also, because they're from the Pacific Islands, right? You got it? So I wanted to go in there to also to highlight that about Naphtali. So when you see that west there, brothers and sisters, when you do the etymology of that word west, it means the seas, the Pacific, the Pacific coast, South Pacific Islanders, you understand? So that's how they try to hide it. You know what I mean? They know Judah what I get, because the spirit was given unto Judah and Levi. But they tried to hide the other tribes. And I see that they did a lot of work to hide Reuben and Naphtali. Yeah, Jews, take the floor. Yeah, they work real hard. They work real hard. Who would have thought of going west and find seas? Imagine the seas, it really said there. So when I say they shall possess the seas of the south, that's what actually should have been there. So when we look on the map, we will look for the the southern seas, more to the southern coast of the seas on these islands, you know what I mean? And things of that nature, right? Yes, sir, you can take the floor.
You know, we have Polynesians have a custom, right? And and every island has got their own name for it, but it's the same custom. And it is a custom where, say, for an example, we have a visitor that comes to stay temporarily with us. So we would give up our master bedroom for that visitor. We would give our best that we've got for that visitor. Whether it means I sleep on the ground, I give that visitor, I do that. And we are satisfied with that. So our best linen. So, you know, when we have somebody come and a lawnmower man come and mow our grass, so if he charges $50, I would give him $70. And I would be happy with that. And if he doesn't take it, or our visitor doesn't take that master bedroom, we take it as an offense. We are not good enough for that. And then we can only be satisfied that we've looked after our visitor or a guest or family that come to temporarily stay with us. You know, we would feel satisfied that we've done our duty to satisfy our guests by giving them the best that we've got. And this has been a custom for years. So it doesn't matter which island that you go to, we all practice that custom. It's a custom that it's always been with us. So, and a lot of tourists, when they go to the Pacific Islands, they are welcomed with flower necklaces or dancing. That is actually, it brings us down to earth that we can welcome guests with every beautiful thing that we've got, or we give them the best that we've got. And it's a servitude that's part of our custom. And you know what? I'm not even trying to make that fit that scripture. That is literally what the custom is.
I know. And there's another scripture. If Isaiah don't mind going to the book of Genesis 49, reading from verse 21, which, you know, I know that.
Okay. Good. The book of Genesis, chapter 49, and verse 21. Naphtali is a hind let loose, he giveth goodly words.
You see? He giveth goodly words, he's pleasant, he's polite. After all the slavery and bondage, they still, and you know, it's something, and Naphtali, you know, they manifested it, but it's something within our people, Like, how can you take down our people and enslave them, and these people still stand and could show that sort of politeness? Huh? That's the spirit of the Most High. That is a higher within us. You see, we always search for our God, regardless of what in our unawares and our ignorance is something that genetically is like a genetical DNA. One of our brothers in Trinidad sing a song about it. It's something that genetically in our people to serve the Most High. You know, so they shall give goodly words. They shall have that sort of characteristic as a people. You know, and I want to go into some stuff. I still want to go into some stuff. You know what I mean? I want to go into a few things again. If you don't mind, you know, Jews. I want to go into something else, because you see, I want the world and I want people to know that Christopher Columbus knew what he was doing. You know how you think Christopher Columbus found our brothers and sisters show the four corners of it. And this is the dumbed down cliche, you know, statements being said out there, that the Bible this, the Bible that, and people don't know that the Bible is the map, is the tool of all history, right? All your holidays that you follow, is in the Bible. All these pagan days that was given unto us. All these children sacrifices that you see going on with the elite, and they always in some children scam. They're always transporting children and dealing with pedophilia, and making pedophilia a scientific term that is legal. And all these things come from straight back in Egypt and the land of Canaan, which the Mosai told us. So this is part of their religion, brothers and sisters, right? You could go into other records and it will scratch the surface. You might get info, but listen, once you go into the Bible in its full context, you will get the understanding of everything. And I want to show you all that this European, this Edomite, went in to our records to find our birth, right? And I'm going to get it, right? Our people need to know the truth. You know what I mean? We need to know the truth. So let me get it here. Right. Right. So this is the record here. Christopher Columbus and the participation of the Jews in the Spanish and Portuguese discoveries by Dr. M. K. Serlin, PR from the author's manuscript with his sanction and revision by Charles Gross, Scholar Select. This is the book, brothers and sisters, right? I blew it up for you all. Now I'm going to go into and that's going to go into the page. This is page 5, right? That's going to point out something. These books are now in Colombina at Civil C. Biblioteca Colombina. 3 whole chapters. He was also very fond of reading the Bible. And this is the like Christopher Columbus biography and all the information about Christopher Columbus and how he will rediscover the new world. You understand? This is how Christopher. This is the understanding of the great Christopher Columbus, who they call, right? You know what Christopher Columbus did? He was very fond on reading the Bible and the 4th book of Ezra. So it marked 4th book of Ezra, but it's actually 2nd Ezra's in the Apocrypha, which was probably written by a Jew who lived outside Palestine. According to his own assertion, the incentive that impelled him to plan the discoveries was not a love of science, but his interpretation of the prophecies of Isaiah. You know what the prophecy of Isaiah, brothers and sisters? That the earth is round. Because they thought the earth was flat. So they thought they could have let's go west or go east. But understanding our God, these Gentiles know our God is the true God because this is new, probably Red Seas. And when our God prophesies something, it comes to pass. So Christopher Columbus, what was a sailor, went in to Isaiah, went into 2nd Ezra. He was always fond of the Bible because he knew the Bible had the truth. It wasn't his book, it wasn't his records, but he went into the Bible to find our brothers and sisters. Think about that. So let me read it again. He was also very fond of reading the Bible and the 4th book of Ezra, which was probably written by a Jew who lived outside Palestine. Now I know in the Spanish, according to Chazak, and it lines up perfectly here, and I'm sorry that Chazak could not be here, that when he had us to find what in English is 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha, in the Spanish is the same 4th Ezra. Get it? And what Christopher Columbus was, not Spanish. Get it? Right? According to his own assertion, the incentive that impelled him to plan his discoveries was not a love of science, but his interpretation of the prophecies by Isaiah. Now, I gotta go into that, brothers and sisters. I gotta go into that, right? I'm gonna go into that now. Let me just come out of here, right? Because they don't want you to know this, brothers and sisters. They don't want you to know this. Bear with me, people. All right. Okay, family. Right? Right. Let's get the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, reading from verse 49. For those of you all who know what is 2nd Ezra, that's one of the prophets that was in the book of the Apocrypha that was taken out by the same Roman Catholic Church, which Christopher Columbus went in to search for the other New World. We're going to go into that report and we're going to show you all why they hide it, right? You got it, Isaiah?
Come.
You could go into it.
2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 49. 41. So like you say. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen, and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over.
So when they went to the rivers of Euphrates, brothers and sisters, when you go on an ancient biblical map, when you really watch the direction, it goes little under Iran, and actually heads, you can head in direction of South Pacific, as we know, right? So we may think that they went west, they actually went east and came around to the western shores, and they went to South Pacific, Australia, as we know, right? Read.
For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Asarath.
So that word Asarath, a place of no inhabitation, right? A place where mankind never dwelt before. Read.
Then dwelt they were there until the latter time. And now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace.
Right. So you could drop that. So this is the scripture here that Christopher Columbus went into. He also went into the book of Isaiah that's showing that the earth is wrong. Right? They thought the earth was flat, like this whole flat earth theory now. So they thought they thought they would have go and sail off the earth now and fall now. But understanding that our God always speaks the truth by the prophets, by Isaiah. You understand what I'm saying? And Ezra's. He understood the earth was wrong. And he convinced to get financial support to go and get our people, knowing that, and this is what they know. Once the Most High people is breaking his commandments, they will go into captivity. So it was a whole thing going on in spiritual realm. All the people said to go off. Okay, the Most High have no choice but to allow Satan to pass judgment. And why Satan going to execute judgment? The spirit going on Christopher Columbus now to find us, and hence to find our brothers in South Pacific Islands. Jews, yo, listen. Yo, I could imagine how hard it is to gather the information to connect the dots, especially from down on your side.
Yes, it's amazing. It's amazing reading that. In Isaiah 11:11, he says, says, so scatter his people to the many other parts and also to the islands of the world. And he must have read that as well,
Yeah.
As you said, they knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
They had an intention, and the interesting thing to find out would be behind Christopher Columbus, who was he reporting to, and what was their idea of these so-called discoverers to go out and discover. And it'll be interesting to get these letters or get these communications in paper, whatever they had, and then really compile a picture.
Can. True. Because listen, these people was always against us. It's a battle within Jacob and Esau, right? It's a serious battle. And you know why we go there, brothers and sisters? Isaiah, can I get the book of Revelation chapter 7, please? Revelation chapter 7. Reading from verse 1. This is why we go here, brothers and sisters. For those who may be new, let's get into it.
The book of Revelation chapter 7 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind shall not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power on our foreheads.
Right. So, because of the sin and the destruction and the disrespect to our God, to the Most High, these angels want to execute judgment on mankind for their wickedness. But the angels say, hold up, we got to seal our servants. So you see, it's a sealing process going on in the earth right now. And that seal is the Holy Spirit. Read.
And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
Of the tribes of who?
Of the tribes of the children of Israel.
Read.
Of the tribe of Judah was sealed 12,000.
Mm-hmm.
Of the tribe of Reuben was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad was sealed 12,000. Mm-hmm. Of the tribe of Asher was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali was sealed 12,000.
Right. So each tribe from the time of Christ to now will be 12,000 leaders, kings and priests must be sealed. And this is what is going on, brothers and sisters. It's a sealing process for these 12,000 of each tribe and also the great multitude. This is why it is very important to understand the table of nations. Very important to understand ethnicity according to the Bible. It's very important to know who you are following. Because listen, the Most High God, listen, these other religions never really prophesy to their followers or to the believers how to stand in a day like this. When you look into all these religions, every single one, I'm talking about from Christianity, go straight to the rest of them. They have a little understanding of certain things, but the people are not prepared. They don't really know left to right. They are more scared than the unbelievers. Because, brothers and sisters, it wasn't given to them. So we, as the Most High chosen people, we of the Garden of Christ Church, have to bring forth this gospel to the four corners of the earth, right? And our brother NAPHTALI is here, and we give all praises to the Most High for him giving us this opportunity. You understand? Right? Right? So, what is the next move? What is the next plan? Right? Now, there's only so much that, I can speak online. Right? But, listen, brothers and sisters. Let me get the book of Ephesians. Let me get the book of Ephesians. All right? Let me get the book of Ephesians. Reading from chapter 5. Because we in our war, brothers and sisters. The book of Ephesians, I made a mistake. Chapter 6, reading from verse 10.
Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Right.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities,
right.
Against powers.
We wrestle against thrones, right? In the lower heavens, right? Satan has his seat and has his archangels with him operating, right? Read.
But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
So we gotta understand, this is a spiritual war, right? This is a spiritual war. And just as how the Most High had delivered us out of the land of Egypt, brothers and sisters, we are in that same place again. The Most High has revealed his name. He has revealed his name. A higher, a higher. His name is terrible amongst the heathens. He has given us his name. He has given us the name of his son, Yeshua, and the Holy Spirit. We got to call upon the name of the Most High to fight against these powers, because these powers is against us. Right, brothers and sisters, we did a broadcast last week, and they take down our channel. You understand what I'm saying? And that same night, I saw so much of wickedness on YouTube, and they took down that. You know why? Because they control it. They are the powers that be. The powers, brothers and sisters, is the governments in the Greek. Right? The powers is, and this is what's going on with people in Christianity. When they hear we wrestle against flesh and blood, right? You're not wrestling against one man, you're not wrestling against two men, but you're wrestling against a whole construct, a whole system. But it starts from the principality, the thrones. Satan has a seat. Then it comes down to the powers who worship him, because power is given to the hands of the wicked. Then it comes down to spiritual wickedness in high places. Do you know this spiritual wickedness in high places is fighting against our nation as we stand, as we speak today? It's fighting against it. It's oppressing our people to this day. Our people are being afflicted still. Even those in the truth, we are being attacked as a nation. Through all sorts of strategies by the enemy. And I'm going to highlight it tonight, brothers and sisters. The real thing that is fighting against us, is fighting against us as a nation, my people. And brothers and sisters, we got to look into that law deeper. We may look at the 10 commandments and think that's it there. But there are a whole heap of other commandments that we need to look into as a people, as a nation. And brothers and sisters, if we is the people to bring salvation and the light to this world, if we don't get it right, we're going to go through a long period of suffering. We got to get it right. We cannot, blame anyone. We cannot look upon anyone. We got to look upon ourselves and bring forth this virtue as a nation. We got to put our hands to the plow, my brothers and sisters. This awakening is not an awakening to just remain awake and watch. It's not a watch. It's not a watch awakening. We are in a serious war, my brothers and sisters. And listen, this war, it's getting physical as we see now because they are bringing in martial law, they're making it mandatory vaccines, right? All these things. But this war is demons attacking our nation. These spirits are coming at us. You know why? Because we got the responsibility. And we sometimes may put our guard down as a people. You understand? And I see it happen. We put our guards down and Satan comes in. And you know what? Satan comes to create confusion. He comes to create strife. He comes to create lack of forgiveness. These are the things that we have to highlight. I will highlight tonight. These are the things that the enemy is going to use to take us down. So we got a serious spiritual book as a people, right? Continue.
What verse was it?
Ephesians 6.
Yeah.
And verse
13, yeah.
verse 13. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness.
So when your loins, when your loins is good about the truth, you could stand upright, as David says. And you are breastplated with righteousness, because that law, that truth, is what will keep you upright. Nothing else can keep you upright in this world. But that truth, that law, will bring uprightness and bring righteousness, the breastplate of righteousness. Read.
And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace.
So that's what we are doing. Our feet is shod with preparation of the gospel to spread the good news to all the four corners of the earth, to Israelites and to Gentiles. Read.
Above all, taking the shield of faith.
So listen, if you don't have faith, brothers and sisters, you can't stand having all, brothers and sisters. You must have faith. You must have faith that the Most High is going to work it out, regardless of what, whether it be outwardly, whether it be internally as a nation. You must have faith. If you can't have faith, it's impossible to please Him. Right? And the enemy is going to use he's going to, you know what the enemy uses against us, brothers and sisters? Doubt. Because doubt is the opposite of faith. He just needs you to have one moment of doubt. That's it. Succeed. And then now, what the Most High is trying to build through us, Yeshua is building through us, gets stagnant because of doubt. Read.
Wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
You see? You could drop that. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for the saints. You understand? So we gotta lift up one another people in prayer, brothers and sisters. We gotta unite on that banner. Now, Jude, I know it had some things that sent to me. You want me to open it up for you to go into it? Do you want to?
I won't go into the videos here because they are long and they could go into copyrights. That's right.
You wanted to pull up that, but I have the PDF I have the other article you sent me on the Samoa Island, and I have the one of the pictures with the chief and the information that was pertaining towards that. And it had the article, what happened and why. So you could let me know what you want me to go into if you want to.
Majority of that PDF was just to give you some numbers on how they are introducing the vaccine and how much vaccine they are introducing to each island, and the deaths, and how our governments here in the South Pacific or the South Seas have just have given no option but to accept what the Western medical organizations have brought into our people, and it ultimately puts them back into the curses. And yeah, and it's sad to see. And what you were just bringing out, in Ephesians 6, that there is no other way to battle this veil and the spirit that's been put upon us. There's just no way out, but only through the walking in the truth of the Most High. It's so that's what those PDFs were about. They are looking to send over 10,000 vaccines to the whole Pacific, and NAPHTALI and Reuben here in Australia. They are found in all parts of Australia, and they are looking to do the same thing with Reuben here as well. There's no word about introducing vaccines to any other nations. There is, but it's very little. Most of it is to put onto our people, and so just what you were breaking down in Ephesians 6 just really resonate really well. And how do we? The thing is that to our people is, how do we take Ephesians 6, remanufacture it and give it to them into an understanding level, to an understanding point, and to bring them up to understanding. It's sometimes we've got to sit here and just ponder about it. It's like, how can I bring this out? There's a deep sleep going on, very, very deep sleep. And it started a long time ago, but yeah.
I also saw something that I was watching too, some information that I was going through this week, and I was seeing it seems like China seems to be like the superpower on that side now. I'm seeing like how America is a superpower, throughout the world, but I'm seeing China seems to have lots of interest in the South Pacific and Australia.
Yes, the China have very much owns South Pacific. They own it, and our people have just not seen the agenda behind the gifts they bring. So China have with Australia and with New Zealand and with America, there were certain hurdles or criteria that the government had to meet in order for finances to be approved and go ahead. And these hurdles were too high, too many hurdles for these governments to jump. So China had come in and said, don't worry about it. We'll do it all for you. We'll talk about the price after, but we want to get you on that right path now. And our governments are like, wow, that sounds really good. Let's do it. Not knowing that the interest rate is unpayable, that the loan is over 100-year-old years to pay back. They're not understanding these. And so it's, so all we're going through earlier from what's happening from before the blackbirding, from the time we had left the promised land, and as you say, the kingdom is collapsing. Now they are coming up very creative and many different ways to keep our people asleep. Yeah, and the only way to get out of this is through Ephesians 6, what it describes it there, how to armor ourselves up with the Spirit of the Most High. Our people are just in a deep delusion, deep sleep, very deep sleep.
Can. Because in the book of Second Ezra speak, of Babylon, Asia, and Egypt, and we see that Asia basically replica America, and I'm seeing that same spirit, coming to oppress our people and to take over and keep the oppression upon our brothers and sisters through Reuben and Naphtali. And how is the truth working out across there? Like how is the information going across there to the people? How people receive the information with our awakening,
Maybe say when we're out there in the streets, you'd probably get out of every 50 people, you'd probably get 1, 2. It depends. We have got all the tribes here in Australia, all the full 12 tribes. We have them all here. And you know what? When we're out there in the markets, out in the streets, we have the Asians come to us. We have, we have Muslims come to us. We have Indians come and talk to us. The Hindu Indians, and they come and engage in what we've got to bring out. But when we see our people, whether you want to call them West Africans, whether you want to call them Polynesians, they'll see us from the distance and they'll go that way. It's just the same. That doesn't matter who it is. They know there's a spirit that is working in amongst the truth in our people. They can see us from like miles away, and they've got no idea what we've got to bring out, but they'll see us and we're about something. They'll just go that way. And it is very common here with all the tribes here, But with other nationalities, they're happy to come and engage in the conversation.
Right.
Yeah, it's deep.
That's deep. So you all go out every week on the streets?
We haven't been lately because of COVID. We were planning to go out this weekend. But by midnight, I think tonight, they are planning to tighten their grip on the stage 3 that we're in. So you can go to the gym, you can go to a bar, but you cannot go to church. You cannot have family over. So it's just madness on top of madness. But our people here trust in the oppression. Their oppression is a necessity here. But we love breaking those chains. We love breaking the truth.
It's deep, that deep, to hear that your own people see it from a distance and turn. That's a spirit.
The spirit. That's right.
Yeah.
They haven't heard what we've got to say yet, but they can see us from miles away. And they can see us, we're NAPHTALI, or we're NAPHTALI and Judah. We could be standing there together. They just look down and they just like go that way.
Wait, but you mentioned that it got all tribes there. I'm kind of curious about that. Like where I live, I can't say, if it don't, but you speak in confidence, and how is it such a multicultural place? Is it such multicultural, or what was that influx of the tribes scattered so much that you could say that all the tribes are there, if you don't mind asking?
Yes, so we're out there in the streets and workplaces. Look, I deliver to homes for a living. And and I've come across all the tribes in my journeys, I mean, we've got so-called what they want to call Mexicans here too. And I would go up to them and greet them like they're NAPHTALI. I would think that was my people. I mean, NAPHTALI, but no, they're
The Mexicans.
Yeah. Issachar, talk out in the Issachar accent, and then, when they speak, I'm saying to myself, "Wow, praise the Messiah,"
Right. Yo, that deep. Like what you think? You think is it part of the whole slavery, the shipping, or you think is this tourism? What you think caused that sort of mixture?
It's because our people have got a passion for the Most High, but without knowledge, as we know, they have got a deep passion for the Most High. But without knowledge, and this is what it is. It's a bit of everything now. You'd find all the religions in the world here in Melbourne alone. In Australia, we've got everything here. So we've got a Jehovah's Witness church across the road from a Mormon church, and it's down the road from a Catholic church or a Baptist church. They're all like it's like a bottle store. You'll find a bottle store in every corner. Well, next to every bottle store is nearly a church.
Can. No. So
and we and just trying to tell our people that we are one of the tribes that are here in the Bible. They just look at we're Gentiles. It's like, but who told you that we're Gentiles? Who told you we're Gentiles? They couldn't answer that. They just sort of freeze. You go into a bit of history, and they just can't sort of connect the dot. If you don't mind, Officer Ricard, there's a couple of pictures that I sent you.
Yeah.
There was a man standing next to a stone pile.
Okay.
And also a picture of a stone mountain.
All right. You talk. Okay. Let me get that. That is the only one I didn't send here yet. So let me get it. It's deep. It's deep. To hear the same spirit of sleep that is strong upon the people. You know what I mean? It deep because we encounter the same thing across here. Same thing. All right. All right. Right. Okay. All right, let me get it here. So you want to go with the European, right?
So what was that?
You want the one with the European guy?
Any of the two.
Okay, good. All right, good. All right. Is that clear?
How about the other one? Actually, that's a married chief with the priestly garment. There's another one of the stone formation.
Right. That's now.
Actually, there's a breakdown with that face tattoo. Is the Rawak is the other one?
Not this one.
Not that one. Maybe the European guy standing next to the bit of rock or the rock formation.
Okay, good. All right, that's not. Anytime I come in here, I get problems to come out.
Well, that's okay. You know what? We'll just go into a scripture here I was going to put with it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
The book of Genesis, chapter 31, and verse 43.
So this is some of the customs that we bring out to our people that we used to practice up to 300 years ago when we were told by the colonizers to stop practicing these. So we're going to Genesis 31 and we'll start at 43.
And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children.
So this is when Jacob took the children and his wife, away towards his father's place, and Laban, his father-in-law, caught up with them. Right? Read.
And these cattle are my cattle, and all that thou seest is mine.
Mm.
And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have born? Now therefore come thou, let us make a covenant, I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and thee. And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar.
So Jacob took a stone and he set up a pillar. And on that picture, there's a European man standing next to a stone pillar. Right? Read.
And Jacob said unto his brethren, gather stones, and they took the stone.
So there was Jacob, and he said unto the brothers that was with him, everyone gather some stones and start gathering stones together. Right? Read.
Stones and made a heap.
So they made a big heap of stones. Right? Read.
They did eat there upon the heap.
So they did eat upon this heap of stones, and the pillars were as seats where they sat upon these pillars of rocks or stones, and they would eat on it. Read. Yep.
But Jacob called it Galid.
Yeah, that's the one. Jacob called it Galid, right? Read.
And Laban said, this heap is a witness between me and the state. Therefore was the name of it called Galid.
Read.
And Mizpah, for he said, the Lord watch between me and thee when we are absent one from another.
Yes, so one from another. So Naphtali still carried on this culture. Mm-hmm. So in nearly every island of Polynesia, we would find these stone mounds. Now, where that European guy is standing next to that pillar, that is actually on top of a very big mound of rocks or stones. They calling it a pyramid. It's not a pyramid. It's actually and these stone formations you will find from Hawaii, Tahiti, Tonga, Fiji, Samoa. You find them right around. And what the chiefs used to do, they used to use the moon and stars. They used to meet up at certain islands on certain full moons, and they used to intermarry their women to keep the bloodline. And they used to remind each other that we were still blood, and they carried it on, and it was amazing. So I found it in the Genesis the other day and was like, wow. So when Captain Cook sailed through Polynesia 300 years ago, they told our people to stop practicing our customs, and one of them was this custom, practicing the dowry. So we try to bring these sort of facts out with facts to our people that, we've been blessed to still carry on a lot of the Torah, and, because we left 700 years BC, we took the customs that we didn't practice in that land, and we took them and practiced them in the islands. Mm-hmm. And still trying to show them all these artifacts here, and they even with the facts in front of them, they just cannot fathom this information. I have no idea why, but but being told by some priest or some pastor, just close your eyes and call on Jesus. That overtakes facts. That just overtakes everything. We have a lot of information to bring out, and tell them about the 12 tribes of Israel worldwide and how we are related. It just in through one ear and out through the other. So we could speak to maybe 50 to 100 people, and we probably only get 2-3 people out of it that would want to hear this.
Yeah. True. I know that. When you sent it to me, I didn't know what it was about. So that was the last thing I had sent into the from a file. Sure, it's deep, really deep. See that, folks? They left the land of the heathen and went across another land to keep their heritage. And it's true. In the articles that we went into, actually show that they stopped them from keeping their heritage. They really forced our people to. What is the main religion nowadays? Like, what is the chief religion? If it have one, what is the chief religion?
It's and you know what, officer, and our people don't know where our customs and our culture come from. Even our elders, a lot of our elders that had this knowledge were all died out when they brought in some smallpox diseases a few years ago, where it killed off a lot of our older generation. So a lot of the old news and the understanding had gone with them as well. It's so there's it's so deep, it's so rich with the Hebrew custom that we try and bring them out to the people. They just cannot put it together. I think a part of it is because the Bible is a very thick book. And they throughout from January to December, they probably only read maybe half a dozen pages, and it's got nothing to do about the people in the Bible, nothing at all. So there's a lot of information, but I think they'd rather just call on Jesus' name and go to sleep. It's deep. It's deep.
Yeah, it's deep. Same thing on our side across here. On our side here, we have been colonized, by the British, right? One of the main stronghold religions is Roman Catholicism. Break off. Other religions break off from, Roman Catholic Church. Also Islam, wood and stone. It's the same thing across here, it's the same thing, we encounter the same thing, where we go out there and speak on the streets. And at times, people come to hear the information and they say it's the truth, but I don't know, they don't follow up. You take your number, way fellowship, whatever, but they don't follow up. But the most I say, speak unto the wind, So somebody there are people that watching and listening, but they must even come true as yet, But
hey, it's the Most High's will. So we just go with the brothers and sisters that will here, and that's all that matters. Yeah.
You have anything else you want to bring up?
No, that's pretty much it.
Brothers and sisters, we gotta give the Most High all the praise, thanks, and glory. You know what I mean? I want to give the Most High all the praise. And Isaiah, do you mind going into the book of Hosea chapter 1 verse 10, please? Because this is what we need. This is what is happening. Matter of fact, and until these people be sealed, is when our Savior will come. You go ahead, sir.
The book of Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living God.
Exactly. So in that same place where we were told that we were Australians, we were Trinidadians, we were Americans, we were African Americans, we were Afro Trinidadians, we were Creoles, we were Creole Trinidadians, and all these bywords in that same place. You shall see that we are the sons of the living power. And You know, we want to give the Most High all the praise, all the thanks, honor, and glory for giving us the opportunity, you know, for us to, you know, have, you know, Jules and Isaiah on the broadcast. You know, Jules, like, I hoping that we could connect up again because, you know,
Absolutely, yeah.
and you know, it's a whole 10 hours difference, brothers and sisters. So, it has been difficult to, you know, but the Most High made a way for us to, you know, get Jews on the broadcast, and we will be doing this going forward. You know, getting more people through all the four corners away from the Garden of Christ Church. You know what I mean? And you know, I think that we really have to continue in prayer, brothers and sisters. You know, and you know, Scripture say that he that keepeth not his law is in his prayers and abomination. So you know, we gotta really look into that law. You know what I mean? Sometimes we need to just drop the prophecy. Sometimes we need to just drop all these sort of great information and just keep it simple. You know, just keep it simple. You know what I mean? Let's try, you know, just to keep it simple and focus on the law, brothers and sisters, because the law is the light and the lamp to our feet, brothers and sisters. So, Jules, you have anything to say to people before we close off?
Yes, brothers and sisters that are watching or will be watching, Ephesians 6, as Officer Rakar was breaking down, we need to walk in the Spirit of the Most High. We need to wrap ourselves, our minds, our vessels with the truth of the Most High. The laws that I'm talking about, we are talking about, that Christ, our King and Savior, has brought out. This is the only way out. This is the only way forward. There is no other way to do this. And you know, we'll continue to pray that you brothers and sisters that are watching this, that some sort of level of edification is brought, and you know, of NAPHTALI here in the South Seas. There's a lot more information as well, that it's readily available there on YouTube and Google as well. But we pray that the awakening of Israel is spread, put it that way, for lack of a better word. And I pray for our elders and our deacons and our bishops, for their well-being, and the spirit of guidance and protection be upon them, and also above you that are watching. And come to the truth, walk in the truth, and we will build. And praise the Most High.
Can I get one more scripture, sir? Can I get the book of Ezekiel 37, please? Reading from verse 15. You know, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, reading from verse 15.
Okay. Book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, and verse 15. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it, for Judah and for the children of Israel his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it, for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all those of the house of Israel his companions. And join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, Thus saith the Most High Power, Behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand.
Read. So, or two sticks that shall be one stick, read.
And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes. And say unto them, Thus saith the Most High Power, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation, and the land upon the mountains and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. And there shall be no more two nations.
We shall be no more two nations. We shall be no more, 20-something nations. African, black man, Trinidadian, Chinese, Australian, no more of that. And this is what the elite powers trembling knowing now, that the spiritual warfare has begun. The spiritual warfare has begun. All the billions and thousands of dollars they spent, to hide this information from us, all the money and all the indoctrination through the universities and all these things through the schools and colleges, the Most High is breaking the curses for us right now, brothers and sisters. Now we have to make the next step into fully coming out of the curses as a nation collectively.
That's right.
Read.
And there shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all.
Read.
Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places.
So wherever we scatter in our dwelling places, he will save us out of it. Right? He will save us. I know there are a lot of people that may not have a place of fellowship right now. The Most High is still going to save you. And for those of you all who seeking, to link with the church, you can link and email us at gardenerofchristchurch@email.com and text us and we will get back to you. Right? So he shall save us out of the lands of our dwelling places. Read.
Wherein they have sinned and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God.
So he will cleanse us through baptism, right? Read.
And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them.
Amen. And you can drop that, right? So, brothers and sisters, Jules, Isaiah is a long time we're supposed to do this, and I'm blessed. I praise the Most High that I was given the opportunity to do this broadcast with you all. And it was great, meeting you guys, through virtual reality for the first time. It's amazing. I know plenty of our brothers and sisters feel the same way. I pray the Most High make a way that they could come on this once a month. I pray that you send out some street preaching videos for us out there, It's a blessing, we will soon see Zion, brothers and sisters. We will soon see Zion. So, Jules, anything else to say? Isaiah, anything else to say before we end? I guess.
Yes, Bishop Yatazakwa, Officer Ricard, and to Deacon Kazak, Thawara Rabah for having us on. And yes, going forward, we look forward to joining as much as we can possible. As officers is breaking down, 2 6 into 1 under the law of Christ and under Christ. And Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala. Right, so I'm going to end with one of our brothers, Brother Sham from Trinidad and Tobago. Right, I'm going to play his song. Is Robert S.N. Batiste family. Robert S.N. Batiste. When you're looking for the music, just look lower down to the description under the video and you will see the name of the song. Right, this is Robert S.N. Batiste. Wake Up.
Okay.
Tell me which one is right and righteous. Tell me how come Israel feel part as love in my soul. I've been searching, but I won't search no longer. Israel is a part of my nature. Instead of a hyena, I'm not giving up. It's time to wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.